We are ready to rumble and talk Ted Lasso episode 4. Jake's joining me. So, quiet on set. It's time for popcorn and root beer. All right, welcome into another edition of Popcorn and Root Beer. My name is Steve, and joining me today is a man who needs no introduction, but it's my job to do it anyway. Jake Perry, what's going on?
Oh, out here talking about my boy Ted and all of the other interesting new characters we've gotten this year.
We've gotten a lot of interesting new characters, and we got an interesting episode. So I was giving some of our shows a listen back today, just to kind of see where we went wrong, where we went right. Early on, we assumed that Coach Beard and Coach Chilton would get together. Do we still feel like that's a possibility, or do we think she's?
I think they're too similar. That very well could be the case, but I think a bigger factor is like as I watch them in this episode, I'm like, no, this is like a brother and sister dynamic. It's not romantic.
Yes. So before we get any further, please, if you wouldn't mind, like, subscribe, share, or if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, good review always goes a long way for us, and hit that little follow button. Just helps small creators go just a tad bit further in this oversaturated market. And also, spoiler alert, not that Ted Lasso really sits there and keeps you on the edge of your seat too often, but it's nice to say.
It's also like it'd be one thing if it's a movie, right? Which it's going to eventually come off of like theaters and into streaming, or even if it's a streaming direct release, it's like, all right, you could just go watch it. Like you have streaming. That's kind of the philosophy I'm taking with this is like the show came out yesterday. Everybody who's paying attention knows what day Ted Lasso comes out. We just go watch it if you want to watch it and then come back and listen to us talk about it.
Yeah. And I encourage you to listen to us talk about it because sometimes we drop nuggets of real wisdom for like real life. Like when Brian, Alyssa, and I broke down Lucky, we talked about how sexy it is to be an art thief.
It really is.
It is.
You guys were so on point when I was listening to that, and I was just sitting there like, damn, no notes.
Yeah, no. And you know what? I think it's a topic that people are afraid to talk about, but that's a podcast for another day. So Ted Lasso, cliques are the big point of contention this episode.
Yep.
When you were in school, actually, as an athlete, even, have you encountered many cliques in your day? Yeah,
1000%. Like, you get it.
There are cliques. Yeah,
it's inevitable, right? Like, especially with baseball. Like, we were both pitchers. Pitchers are weird. We're weird. We're just weird.
We are a weird group, and I was part of the stranger of the group. I was a bullpen guy. I was a closer. So if you want to talk about people who, I bet half of them could be like certifiable, like put into an asylum.
Yeah.
Like setup men and closers. We're an odd bunch. The guys I used to like, because and the clique is inevitable, right? Because we're off.
Right. You're doing separate practice. Like we do pitching and catching. They occasionally use us as base runners for fielding drills. Maybe we get to hit. I got to hit because I had to do everything, right? I was a pitcher, a catcher, and an infielder. So like I had to do every part of practice. So like I was the guy who could kind of hover between the cliques, but it was very clear that like you'd be looking for a catch play partner and you would see like an infielder look at a pitcher who is not playing catch with anybody at this point, and they're just not going to go up to him. They'll like wait or hop in and do like a 3-person catch.
Yeah. Cliques are inevitable, I think, in just about anything. Jobs, sports, school. It happens because you make friends and then you kind of like. Now, this was kind of funny that it was such distinct cliques in this episode. So
it was a lot like baseball. It was like very positional. Like,
yes, but where we were so wrong with Chilton and Beard, we were very, very right in the fact that this season seems so much less focused on the pitch, like on the pitch stuff. This is much more behind the scenes. This is much more what's going on with the team and the people.
We jumped and they've played 4 games.
4 full games, like not even a hint of a game like shown.
We've barely
seen a bit of a
practice.
friendly. Yeah, we got a bit of a friendly, and that was really just to show off that they didn't have uniforms.
Yeah.
So they do not seem overly interested in the on the pitch stuff. We're getting a lot more of the social dynamics like we expected, right? So we're in the bar, they're doing trivia, and that guy starts mouthing off at the team. Now, Ted, the reason they're in the bar doing trivia is because Ted is trying to stop cliques from happening, and the only way to stop cliques from happening is to. I liked the framing device of this episode of Trent
interviewing May or not May,
Doctor the psychiatrist.
What's her
there,
name?
The therapist.
Yeah. Why am I blanking on?
I always call her Doc, and now I can't remember that she has an actual name.
What is her name?
I can't remember for the life of me.
It's gonna stress me out.
Yeah, it's just you can look it up while I discuss this. So, Trent Krim, formerly of the Independent, hosting a podcast.
Sharon Fieldstone, Dr. Sharon. Yep. They're sitting there discussing. They're doing their thing, having a good time, and it's a great framing device for the episode because they're talking about cliques and kind of each other's work and their
how to and the whole time Doc is sitting there and she keeps quoting Trent Krim's book.
Yep.
And he's like, that was in my book. She's like, haven't read it. Discussion for the end of this episode that we're going to get into. So that sets up the whole thing. And Ted goes, we're going to do something together. We're going to go to a trivia night, which Coach Beard is absolutely elite at, apparently. It's just like a thing he's very good at until he sees what I didn't get a great look at it, but it looked like it was a play put on by Jane.
Yeah, and it was either a play or a show or something to that effect. It said, where's the baby Jane, or what happened to the baby Jane, something like that.
Yeah, so clearly he's going through that. So there's still more to explore with Beard being a weirdo, as we know. Trivia goes, there's these guys that are just mouthing off at the girls. The girls end up winning in like a sudden death match. And the guy dumps beer all over one of the girls' heads.
First off, why, just it's a waste of money.
Well, first off,
a waste of alcohol.
You're at trivia. Calm the fuck down.
Yeah, that's the
let's take a big.
He was like, you cheated, and it's like, well, she didn't actually. She just was encouraging them. She didn't know the answer.
The goalie,
their team was eliminated.
The goalie, who they have now firmly established as the wild child of
the psychopath of the team,
bashes a guy over the head with a beer bottle, which that is done in so many movies and TV shows. That kills people. Like, you don't just eat a beer bottle to the head, you die.
They don't just break. Like, I've gone out of my way to purposely try and break one on concrete, and it took way more throws than you would expect.
Yeah, like, go ahead and try to hit it against something and break. Like, it takes some
force. And break it against a tree.
Like, if you're swinging anything at someone's head
without it hurting your hand too. Like,
yeah, it's
the people.
Just,
I get they use sugar glass, but same.
Right, because, it drives me nuts.
Go take a bottle and just hit it slightly hard on something wood, and your hand is going to radiate in pain.
Yeah,
that is destroying your hammock bone.
That is it's an incredibly dangerous. So they get into the fight, they get arrested. The whole team gets arrested.
The whole team.
Ted's arrested. Beard's arrested.
We should bring up too, the teams are the cliques, but separated. So he's intermingled. He didn't just let them pick their own teams.
Yes.
The teams so that's the big thing that works.
He forced
in their
them
favor.
all, yes, into he kind of assigned
midfielders,
them
attackers, defenders.
Yeah. So
then boots.
That's the A storyline. The B storyline is Keeley, Rebecca trying to get funding for the team. They go to this conference.
I would argue that's almost the C storyline in this episode.
I would agree.
From an on-camera perspective,
Oh, I think because it doesn't it end the episode though. It kind of ends the episode, so I'd give it the B. But
that's
regardless,
fair. That's fair. That's very
B or
fair.
C. They go to this meeting. They're trying to figure out like what should we do? Like how do we do this? And this woman gets up there, and she is
shit talking every person in there.
All the men in there. I really loved the shot of they pull back and it's Keeley and Rebecca in very stylish. First off, the costuming always fantastic.
10 out of 10.
Always fantastic. Keeley always looks great. Rebecca always looks
notes.
Great. They're in vibrant colors. Everyone around them's in black suits.
Yep.
And gray suits. It's just dull colors all around them. They're the only women there. Bunch of old men. And then this woman gets up there, shit talks the whole group.
Yeah, she's like, I forget the guy's name, but she's like, hey, John, how's the Interpol investigation going? I hope those clowns realize what you did. Like,
yeah, this isn't like I'm going to get up there and do a little roast and like get the people like warmed up. No, she's like, I'm here. I'm mad about whatever. She's instantly angry, which puts Rebecca off, right? So now Rebecca's put off by this.
But
she's
like,
Keeley's loving it. Rebecca's like, I know people like this. I'm not interested in people like this. I was someone like this. This is not going to go well.
Yep.
So
and Keeley's like, yeah,
Keeley initiates. Yes, they initiate, and they're talking, and basically Rebecca gives her the "my people call your people," which this woman's like, all right, like get fucked essentially.
Yeah.
Like she gives her the look, like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Like you don't want anything to do with me.
Right, but fine. You can tell that her response to it, at least I could, was always going to be like, for now, like. You don't want this right now.
Yes, she's very headstrong. So we fast forward to now Keeley's mad, right? Keeley's kind of upset. But she goes through her process, realizes that Rebecca is still her
person,
her BFF. Brings her out to the field, sits down, has a little like tea party set up. They're sitting in the stands, and then this huge explosion happens, and she's like, I'm doing pyro at the game. And Rebecca's like, all right, you know what? It was cool. Go nuts. Fast forward to the end of the episode. Team's in jail. They get bailed out. We think it's by Rebecca. It's not. It's by this woman. So she's clearly going to be around. Then the CB, whatever storyline. Roy doesn't ask, but asks Keeley
if they could date again.
They want to get back together. And Keeley says
he does this by asking, is it too soon to ask? Or has it been enough time that I can ask again?
Yep. And Keeley's like, have you dated anyone else? And he's like, I've slept with plenty of people. And she's like, not what I meant. Like, have you dated anyone? So he's like, what do I need? 5? And she's like, it's not really a number. He's like, and
20.
He's like 20.
Yeah, too high.
She's like, that seems like a lot. He's like 10 then. She's like, fine, whatever. Fucking 10. Yeah, go nuts. So Roy decides he's just going to book them all in a day.
Yeah, he creates a speed dating event for himself.
Yep. Informing nobody. The women are not aware of it. The bartender is not aware of it.
The bartender figures it out very quick.
Figures it out, and it's like,
fuck you, dude. Like,
yeah. So
I know what you're doing.
At first it's like, fuck you, dude. And then it's like, well, fuck you, dude. In a separate way. And
I knew that was going to be something. I knew that was going to happen when she, like the two people, he is on a date. His other date is early, is at one end of the bar. He sees her waiting there and is like, that's my friend who's really bad at timing. And so the girl he's talking to at the time leaves, goes to talk to the other person. The bartender's like, ouch. Yeah, that sucks. Martini's on me.
It's a bad.
It was when she said this martini's on me. I knew. I was like, there's
gonna be too many lines not to be a little bit more involved at some point. So, all right. I know you've been married for a little while now.
6 years and like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Wow. So before that, did you ever have like, were you dating before that? Or are you and your wife like kind of like high school sweethearts?
No, we dated for 5 years before that, but I had a pretty serious long-term relationship before that with somebody from high school.
Okay. All right. So you didn't do a ton of dating, I guess, because you were just kind of in relationships your whole life.
I had like a couple like 1 or 2 month things, but mostly a relationship guy. I had my fun, don't get me wrong, but mostly a relationship guy.
Okay, so if you had any like really bad dates, or you kind of like just didn't, the opportunity didn't really present itself because you were always kind of.
I would argue that the bad date that I went on is how I met my wife, because
Okay.
I was invited to a dinner by a friend who was female and was told to bring a friend for her friend. And the friend I brought for her friend was me, because I did not view that dinner as a date, though the other person did.
Oh, that is a bad date. That's awkward.
I met my wife, so I don't care.
Yeah, I guess that's true. All right, so I've been on several very bad dates. I don't know. Maybe they talk about me in the same way. Maybe I'm like someone's horror story at some point. But there was one. In terms of bad dates, this has to take the cake for anyone I know. I probably 20 minutes into the date was like, I think I'm gonna get killed on this date.
Tough.
Yeah. And I was just like, see, I made that rookie mistake. He's like, let's go on a walk. Like, we'll go on a little nature walk.
He's
like,
gonna murder
bet.
you.
Yeah. So I'm like, bet, right? Like nature walk. I'm like, all right. Like, he's like, let's go on a walk. So I meet him someplace. Like, we can walk around this park. And then I get there and it's like, oh, it's a nature walk. You have to go into the woods. It's all this stuff. And I'm like, fuck.
I would have turned around.
But he was like very nice. He was kind of like, not super my type, but I was trying not to be like so blinded by like, oh, it's my type and I need to have. So I'm like, all right, keep an open mind. I'll never do that again. So I go in to the woods with him and he starts talking about like the oldest people he's hooked up with and all the stuff he's into. And it just starts to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse to the point where I'm like, I don't know really where we are. Cause I'm like, kind of like we keep taking turns and I'm like,
right.
Fuck. So I'm like, needless to say, obviously survived the date. We were supposed to go out to dinner afterwards. I told him, no, I'm not really interested in doing that. And he kind of just stared at me for like a solid 10 seconds and didn't say anything and didn't blink. And then like, I was like, all right, bye. And like left. So there was a lot more to it than that, but like, it's a bit too TVMA for what, and a little TMI for what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah.
So it was odd. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's why we have types.
To an extent, yeah, for sure.
Maybe that's why. Maybe like it's not so much like, oh, they're my. It's like that gut feeling of like, I don't really feel it, and then I went with it anyway. And
I've had situations like that were like hookups where it was like, I'll give it a chance, and then I hit a point where I'm like, kind of don't want to be doing any of this anymore.
Yeah, and I mean sometimes it goes the other way, right? So it's like my boyfriend,
right?
now,
I'm
like,
sure there's people
when he and I met, I was still firmly in like I'm just looking for a hook. I'm looking for something easy, something casual, and then I started talking to him, and he was just very charming and very sweet, and I liked him, and I was like, okay, let's see what's going on with this guy, and almost 3 years later, here we are. So it's.
I was firmly not looking for my wife when I met her, like was very happy being single.
Yeah, I think that's usually when it happens, though. It seems like that seems like a, common thing, right? It's like, oh, like when you're not expecting it, it'll happen. So, needless to say, he goes in, he hooks up with this bartender, tries to, and his knee blows out. Roy Kent.
Yep.
Roy hits the ground. His sister takes him to the doctor's office. The doctor is like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Literally, like that comes out
verbatim.
Yeah. And he's like, so eventually he leaves and he's like, what the fuck? Who the fuck does she think she is talking to me like that? Blah, blah, blah. What's her number?
How do I get her phone number?
Yeah. Like, so that's going to be something. And that's a wrench in the Keeley thing, right? Because now Keeley has sent him on this task to go date people and see, because he puts her on a pedestal.
Yep.
And now she may have sabotaged herself.
Right.
Anyway,
because
it's
clear. Like the bartender thing was super clear. The nurse is a friend of his sister, or the doctor is a friend of his sister. Mm-hmm. So like he's got an in a way, and he's like, he likes a person who's going to kind of give shit back to him, which is, I think, why he liked the bartender. And I almost wonder if that's something that they're leaning into, is that like Keeley, when they were together, was so Keeley, and she's so bubbly and so happy, and like didn't really push back on Roy with a lot of things. And the bartender is like giving him shit for this whole dating thing. They go to hook up. The doctor's giving him shit And now he's kind of like, what's your phone number? So I wonder if they're kind of leaning along that path of Roy and Keeley aren't going to get back together because Roy's going to realize that he wants a person. He wants more of that passion, that like person to fight back against him when he's doing something stupid or wrong.
Yeah, I'm interested for sure. 4 episodes in, I think I can say pretty confidently that this is a strong Ted Lasso season.
Yeah, this is by like it's every episode has gotten better in my opinion. This is by far the best episode. This is also, in my opinion, the most Ted Lasso episode that we've gotten so far.
Yes, it was like filled to the brim with hijinks. It was very Ted Lasso-y, and it also kind of was like that mad scientist-esque Ted thing that he's got going on, like, because he kind of is, right? Like, he does these things that shouldn't work, but they do for some reason. I'm fascinated where it's going to go. I'm really happy with the fact that, like, I couldn't tell you like a definitive ranking of the seasons. I would say maybe season 3 is my least favorite of all the seasons, just because that Nate storyline permeates it so much.
You don't like that storyline, so definitely.
Which also was part of an issue with season 2. Also was kind of like that. It was there, but not nearly as much.
I think season 2 is probably my least favorite.
Is it?
I think it goes 1, 3, 2.
3 was very heavy, I thought. Like, there was a Nate stuff, and it was also really heavy, where like Ted was coming to terms with like his dad dying and things like that. And, like, it was a little bit heavier. Granted, it did have the finale, which was incredible. Everything was great. Like, it's not like there's bad seasons, right? It's just, like,
we're ranking our 3 of our favorite drinks. Like, it's gonna be hard to rank them. Like, the worst thing on the list we still liked,
because season 3 also had the World Cup, which I thought was such a funny storyline.
Oh yeah, everybody just hating each other, even though they're like,
well, Danny turning into like an absolute like
we're no longer friends.
Yeah, like that was awesome. Yeah, so I think this is just a really good season. It feels like a natural continuation of Ted Lasso. It doesn't feel like we're getting shortchanged on anything. Technical difficulties aside. So this doesn't feel like, like Shrinking is about to come back, and I'm worried because it naturally ended, and I'm like, how are we going to continue on this story? I just feel like we're going to get shortchanged.
I'm glad this season doesn't feel like a cash grab season for the cast, the production, for Apple. It doesn't feel forced in any way. Like you said, it feels like a very natural progression from where season 3 ended to where we are now.
Yeah, I would like to see the family get more involved here soon, because I'm like, I got so many questions. And I'm like, I need them to like start getting involved in some way, but we'll see how that goes. Any final thoughts for the people?
I think it's important to note, like, I do think we are going to get more of the football focus moving forward. They get their FA Cup. For those who aren't familiar with the FA Cup, it's like a United Kingdom knockout style tournament. They get Chelsea, so they get the GOAT team that they have to play. So that's going to be interesting. And I like Keeley was the ultimate Keeley when that gets announced, where it's not like thinking about how bad this could go. It's like, we're going to sell out. The stadium's going to sell out.
Yeah, she wants pyro, and
Beard and Chilton are like, oh shit, we got to play the best team.
And then Ted, of course, is Ted, where he's like, this will be fun, and I love it. I want to thank you all for being here. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Give us that 5-star rating if you're enjoying this. Comment below, follow, do all that good stuff. And until next time, for myself and for Jake Perry, that's a wrap. Bye, Z's.